Good morning. We are gonna finish up these Bay streets today. Hope everyone's doing okay today. We are gonna knock them all out in this one walk. We are starting on Bay 40th and we are gonna end it over by the Home Depot on Bay 50. I want to say Bay 54th is the last Bay Street. When we get there, we'll verify that. And yes, it is still gray out. 10 days now, no sun. So yeah, this is it. We will now finish this up. And by the time we're finished, you will all have seen every Bay Street in the Bath Beach section and Gravesend. We're in Gravesend right now. This is what they like to call Old Bath Beach. And that is because after the district lines were rewritten, Gravesend pretty much overlaps Bath Beach over here. So you could say you're in Gravesend, but most people are on these Bay streets will say they're in Bath Beach. Now, a lot of these streets, all the streets that we're going to be walking, I have been down these streets many times. Probably in the next 10-15 minutes we'll be walking by my high school that I went to, Lafayette High School. So a lot of these streets, I had a lot of friends on these streets. And after school, this was the neighborhood you hung out in if you didn't go home. So this was like, growing up, this was my second neighborhood, my second home. And you can see Lafayette High School out there, but we'll be passing that in a little bit. We should be able to finish this walk up at around an hour. The streets this way is where they start to really get short. And Bay 44th is going to run into the Lafayette field. So that's a shortened street since Lafayette takes up about 3 blocks. And then the last streets, those are pretty cool because those streets are the original, they're in the original state since Bath Beach was created. There's some homes on those streets that are still like beach homes. The beach used to come right up to that area, but after all the landfilling and when they dammed in the creek, the Coney Island Creek over at Shell Road, everything changed down there. They had to put the Bell Parkway down there, the train yard. This is way back when Neptune Avenue, I think, was called Ocean Avenue. Oh no, it was called, I think it was Canal Avenue. Yeah, it was Canal Avenue. But some of the houses on, pretty much all those houses on Bay 50, on the Bay 50, like Bay 52nd, Bay 53rd, are the original beach houses. Those streets are going to be really short, so you can literally walk up and down those streets in a minute. Those are very short streets. There's another interesting thing. Down here, when we get to like Bay 46th, there is a, so you know how you skip, how you'll have two Bay streets and then an avenue. So you'll have Bay 46th and Bay 47th. So you would think that there is no Bay 48th, but there is a Bay 48th down here. It's a very short street, and I'll show you. It runs right up to the avenue. So it's like it's weird. It's like a street, and then right across, as you get across, I guess it's Cropsey, it's the avenue. So you have a street and then an avenue. Crossing Bath Avenue now. Bath Avenue down here is very residential. There's no businesses down here. There is a library down here. A couple of stores, a restaurant, but up on Cropsey, you have like Orange Grill. You have the Italian restaurant over there. So looks like they're putting a bed up on this minivan, or this, I guess you could call it like a minivan, suburban. They, what was I going to say? Down here, they tend to call this the forgotten neighborhood of Bath Beach because there's really nothing down here. I mean, obviously there's homes. Look at the old pine here. There's an old tree. I will say, you know, especially as we get down to like Bay 49th Street, neighborhood gets a little, I don't like to say, I don't like to say it's dangerous, but you get down to like Bay 49, Bay 50th, it's a little bit more sketchy. You gotta watch yourself. We were doing a walk. We were doing the walk last week. If you remember, I did the walk and I was looking at the Citizen app because we saw a helicopter above us. And it turned out that morning at like 7:30 in the morning, somebody got slashed on Bay 50th. So, and then if you're local and you know the news around here, there was a guy who killed his neighbors because they were making a lot of noise. He didn't do it over here though. He did it somewhere else. But he ran. He was running from the law. And they caught up to him over here on Bay 44th Street. And we're going to walk down that street. I'll show you the house where it happened. He was, I guess, hiding or whatever. They found him in his car and he took off. They chased him. They tried to negotiate with him. He wasn't having it. He charged one of the police officers. He had a knife in his hand. They shot him dead right on Bay 44th. We've had a couple of people get robbed down here. 2 women stop a guy, and then the guy comes out with a gun. So this area, when you get down to this part, you gotta watch yourself. We are not gonna walk to Shore Parkway. There's really nothing there. We'll just continue on here. Walk by the Orange Grill. This is a popular place in the neighborhood. I've been in here a couple of times. And once you get down here, the homes down here are all right up next to each other. If you look across the street, I mean, this is really, it kind of, like some of the streets, like the next block you'll see, it reminds you of like Bay 7th Street. We have you'll have a home, you'll have like a couple of homes next to each other. Sometimes you'll have a driveway. And down here you're crossing also Harway Avenue, so you have to cross Harway, Bath, and Benson. So you got a house with a lot of land here in the corner. As I was telling you, across the street, if you look across the street, it's like the Bay 7th houses almost. You just got the houses next to each other, and then the driveways down the middle, and separating. And then on this side, the houses are a bit smaller, and they got more land. Looks like they've got like property out in front of the house. A fountain that's not being used. There's a lot of buckets right there. Growing various vegetables and all sorts of stuff. Now, I did not bring my battery pack with me. This was the only walk I was going to do. And we should be able to fit it in all in one shot. It's not that cold out. Well, it is cold. It's 35 degrees out. But it's not windy, so. I said this earlier, there is no sun to be seen anywhere. We haven't seen the sun in 10 days. It was snowing this morning around 7 in the morning, but it was, you know, it was just wet snow. It lasted maybe about 10 minutes. Got nothing but four-way stop signs down here. So yeah, I made the promise. I said I was going to do this. So we are going to finish it. This is a walking channel. We do walks here. But I normally don't do something like this where we just do do a straight run through a whole entire neighborhood. I don't like to do that because I like to just keep it, you know, I like to keep it where we're going into different places. We may stay in the same neighborhood, but I typically don't like to, you know, just go in the same, just pick off where I left off and keep going, but we did that here. And this will be the last time, this will be the only time we do this. If we ever walk down a Bay Street again, it'll be because I don't know, maybe during a rain walk or a storm or something, but we will not be doing any more Bay Streets after this. It's a nice tree. Got some nice trees in this house, these two houses. Hopefully there is no clicking on the mic today. I had my lighter jacket on the other day, spring jacket with a liner jacket. So I had kind of like two jackets on, really thin windbreaker underneath a spring jacket. And I had it open because I had to clip the mic somewhere, and I clipped it on the outer jacket, and I guess the mic was rubbing against the inner jacket zipper. So the last walk we did, the one after that, the clicking, I had to turn the mic off. It wasn't windy, so I didn't need it. So I used the camera mic for that one. After we finish this walk, we will be done with the Bay Streets, and then we will get into other areas. Probably gonna do a string of walks without commentary. We've been doing commentary non-stop since November. So if you've been with the channel a long time, you know the channel has never been for the most part commentary. Every once in a while I do commentary, so, but then I had made a decision saying, you know, we'll definitely do a lot more commentary going forward, but we'll kind of split it up. So I think what we'll do is after this we'll start doing some walks where there's no commentary. Take a break. It's sort of like taking a vacation, even though I'm not taking a vacation from doing this. I do want to do a walk back over by Coney Island Avenue. You know, I might have to do commentary on that one because there's some things I want to mention over there, but otherwise we'll get real quiet. We are back on 86th Street, and this will now conclude, I think these were the last Bay Streets on 86th Street right here, because this is where the train turns and goes on to Stillwell. That's Stillwell Avenue in front of us across 86th Street there, where you see those cars coming towards me. So these are the last Bay Streets on 86th Street. John's Deli. And Petco. That used to be, a long time ago, used to be like a, pretty sure it was a White Castle, and then we had the Nathan's food court. And you can see why the streets, the base streets, are going to start getting smaller now, because they are going to start cutting on this angle. So this is where the walk from this point, the streets will get shorter and we'll eventually be done with it. This part of 86th Street is just nothing but garage. You got a car wash across the street. The Dunkin' Donuts is still there from my high school years. It's right over there. And we're going to be passing by my high school now, soon. Bay 43rd Street. Now once we get to Bay 44th, it's going to be, we're going to have to play it by ear as far as how we're going to continue doing the route, because just because of the way the dead ends is over there, and I got to turn sooner, and then I think I'm on 27th Avenue at that point. So we'll just play it by ear as we get down there. It looks like they're doing some construction on the school. A lot of memories on these blocks. I went to Lafayette High School right there in front of us. I went from 88 to 92. When we get to Bay 44th, I got a funny story about driver's ed. Bay 44th is forever etched in my mind because of something that happens during driver's ed, and you're gonna have to wait until we get to that street for me to tell you the story, because it's really a funny story. And no, I did not get into an accident. But when you hear it, you'll be mystified. You'll be like, really? So there is Lafayette across the street. I think nowadays it's a charter school. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. But it's definitely not the same school when I went. Right here, this house, you see this brick little outcrop of this door. We used to hang out on these steps here. They put gates up now, but we used to hang out over here. We used to sit on these steps right here. We used to hang out here all the time. We put a gate here just to keep the kids off the steps. And this is where we mostly went into school, through this entrance here. We didn't go through the front. This is where you went. Side entrance. And if anybody was in Lafayette when I was there, they might remember this. There was a guy that down there's like a door, it's a stock room. His name was Dominic, and he would pull kids out of class to help him deliver stuff to the teachers in all the classrooms. And if you could get out of class for an hour or even a couple of hours and just push the cart to deliver the mail or boxes, it was a big deal, man. Dominic was a great guy. He was an older guy. He was a Korean War vet. Man, if he would have known that I joined the military, because I mean, I didn't join the military until years later, but at that point in my life, military wasn't even a thought in my mind. But if he's still alive, I don't know. If he's still alive, he would be in his 90s by now. We do have the field across the street. It's a football field and a baseball diamond and a track. There's some newer condo buildings that went up in the last few years. They finished these a few years ago. This whole block used to have, used to have a lot of houses on them, and they knocked them all down and they built all the condos. You know the story. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. That's what they do. Memories Cafe. And then across the street is the library. Yeah, it still is the library. Right there. Oh boy. I got an attack dog in front of me. Do you see him? You gotta be careful. These small, cute little dogs, man, sometimes they're ferocious. He's just moseying around. I'm gonna cross over because there is a nice house I want to show you guys. It's been around for a long time. It has had a renovation, and it does have a lot of solar. Looks like you gotta get some solar panels up there now. It's a nice house. It's been around. I want to say that when I was, well, I'll show you because this is where we used to walk down here for our bus stop. This is a bus stop is up here for the B64. Used to come down here. I want to say that this house at one time was in need of a renovation. I'll just say that. And nowadays it looks really nice. Big windows on the side. Even up on the top, if you look up there, you can see the solar panels up there. Yeah, it looks like they're still doing the renovation. There's some wire sticking out. Yeah, see, they're still doing the renovation. Very nice. Just, it looks like it doesn't belong on the street. Get a nice look at the house there. You got the funeral home. And there was the bus stop going home. And this was the bus stop getting off to go to school in the morning. Still in the same spots. We just hit 30 minutes. Can we finish this in 30 minutes? We shall see. We will be turning on Cropsey again. We will not go through. As a matter of fact, I think there's construction going on over there anyway. So, but when we go to see the Bay 48th Street, we will have to cross Cropsey. You got the tower buildings over here. High-rise apartment buildings that have been around for ages. We're getting close to the end.
Dile la ruta.
All right, we are on Bay 44th. Now this right here, in this area here, you get these little roads, so I'm going to cross over so you can see them. And the houses look interesting on this block, I'll tell you. I'll show you when we pass this, but you got a little road here called Mill Road. This is an original line street from the old grid, now used mostly as like a driveway, and there's still undeveloped marshland over there. And then across the street, these just don't look like they belong on Bay 45. It's just crazy. I'm gonna go back across the street and look at this. Every time I see these homes, I mean, look at this. There's so much room over here to put these homes, you know. It's like a nice lawn, little walkway. They just don't fit on the block. Okay, now we're getting back across the street. I stated earlier about the that guy that killed his neighbors, and then they caught up to him a day later over here. This is where it happened. This is where he decided to take his last stand. Right in front of this house with the red rail. Happened right here. Actually, it was right where I'm walking right now. That house has a lot of solar panels on the side. You got a house with the flagpole. So yeah, so let me tell you the story now. Driver's ed, real quick. We had our social studies teacher doing driver's ed. That's how they did it in high school. You probably signed up for like a driver's ed in your high school, and the teacher took 3 of you or 4 of you in the car and did the driver's ed. This guy gets in the car. He had his car parked over, I guess, on 27th Avenue. He's driving, and he's going over what he's gonna do. I'll get in the street here to show you. So remember this driveway. Remember that driveway right there. So he gets in the car, he comes up 27th Avenue, makes a right onto Bath over here, and he's talking, and he's telling us, well, what we're going to be doing, and, you know, you got to pay attention, you got to do this, that. And he makes a left-hand turn up the street. Now, if you notice, traffic is going the opposite direction. So he turns up the street and he's driving. And I'm sitting in the passenger side. My friends are sitting in the back, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say his whole name because I don't want to embarrass him. But I was like, Mr. T, and he's like, 1 minute, and I'm like, but Mr. T. He goes, what? Well, what's the problem? I'm trying to talk to you. I was like, you're driving down the wrong side of the road. You're driving the wrong direction. He's like, oh. He's like, wow, I didn't notice that. And he tries to be slick, and he says, well, you know what? Let's go over the K-turn. And he goes into that driveway I show you. That he goes into the driveway, goes in, backs out, and then we go back the other way. I'll tell you, I turned around to my friends, and I was like, oh, we're dead. We are dead. This guy literally just drove down the wrong way. We're not going to make it. So I always, Bay 44th is just forever etched in the back of my head. We're going to have to, now this is what I said earlier, we're going to have to do a little bit of a strange route here. And we're literally, I know this is a big no-no, but we have to do it. We're gonna skip a street. We're not gonna, skip the street in the sense is we're not gonna walk down it. We're just not gonna go. We're not gonna do the full distance. Just to keep everything in sync here, because it's just the way now the streets are going to start like really getting shorter, and it's just a pain to manage at this point. So we're going to go down Bay 46th. Not that way. But this way. We're going to head to Stillwell Avenue again. we are now heading into probably the sketchiest part of Bath Beach. It's the area where you gotta really watch yourself. You know, just, it's not dangerous, don't worry, it's not a DMZ, but you gotta just keep an eye on your surroundings, see who's around you. Just pay attention. Now the block we just skipped it's really the same types of housing and stuff, so you're not missing much. Sorry if you live on that block, we're not going to pass it. Because we're going to go up Bay 47th, take a quick look at Bay 48th, we're going to go down Bay 49th, go up 50th, and then we're going to end it on those short streets, and that'll be that. Got this landscape and gardening company over here. They've been around a long time. I'll tell you, man, those snow blowers, they are probably dying to sell these snow blowers. Look at all these snow blowers, look. There has been no snow here for 2 years, 3 years. Nobody's buying salt, nobody's buying shovels, and nobody's buying snow blowers. That's what happens though. It's usually, especially here in the Northeast, it's feast or famine, man. You either have really snowy winters or you don't have any snow at all. Somebody had left a comment and they were talking about how, you know, there's no snow and everything, and I had wrote back, I had said that this reminds me of the 90s. In the 90s, we didn't have snow for years. We didn't have any snow. It would always like turn to rain or whatever, and then one day in January in 1996, that all changed. We had the blizzard of 96. We got 35 inches of snow down here. It was absolutely nuts. And it was the worst blizzard I've ever been in, because it wasn't just about the depth of the snow. The winds were 60 miles an hour. It was basically a tropical storm with snow. And I remember the whiteout conditions were so incredibly... we were out... I remember we were shoveling out. I lived in the corner house on Bay 10th Street, so we were trying to stay on top of keeping the snow in front of the house cleared. So I'd go out there literally every 30 minutes. And the snowfall was falling at such a rate, it was just useless. But man, those winds, man, you wouldn't be able to see in front of you. I'll never forget that. I've always said I've never seen anything like that since. And we've had some blizzards since then, but nothing like that. It was absolutely crazy, that blizzard. There's some of these homes that are set back. Looks like they're set back on the next block, which is the avenue. This is a church. church or a rectory or something. It doesn't look like a church. Big parking lot. This is what the houses used to look like back in the old days. This one, like this is one right here. See how small they are. You'll start to see more and more of these as we're now finishing the walk. There's one back there. Get another look at it. As we're now getting to the end of this. This walk is going to be long. At this point, we're at 47 minutes, so we still got some time to go, but I want to knock this out. The problem was going to be, here was the problem. The problem was going to be basically, if I did these blocks that we're on now, it would have been a really quick walk. It would have been like 20 minutes, 25 minutes at this point. So I decided we're just going to go ahead and knock it all out. That way I could move on with my life. Oh, I hate when cars come out of driveways really slow and you gotta decide what are they gonna do, where are you gonna go. I am gonna go behind him. He's gonna have to wait. That is a weird house. Look at this building. It's like just a big rectangle. And then back there, is the house all the way back there? Because you're going to get a lot of these weird houses. Like the house over there is actually lower than the curb. See that? See where the door is down there? It's like the house sunk. Literally sunk. And I'll tell you what, that's probably because they landfilled it in and built up the street and the house stayed there. But that house, look at that house. It's literally sunken in the ground. You'll see a lot of that down here. There's a lot of strange homes. All right, we're coming up on Cropsey. Am I gonna get that light? You think I could get that light? I'm not even running, I'm just walking. All right. The only Bay Street that does not skip Bay 48th Street. So this is Bay 48th over here. And across the across Cropsey is 28th Avenue. So this is a Bay Street that was never changed. And we're just gonna walk right by it, take a look. I know some people are probably like, you're supposed to be walking down each one of these streets, but yeah, I can improvise. We want to get this all done today, so to do that, I've got to make some little changes here and there. So we're not going to be walking down every entire inch of these streets. We are almost done though. All right. On to Bay 49th. See, some of these houses look renovated. Looks like a newer building across the street. Look at this. This house is original in the same spot. It looks trash though. There's a lot of crap over there, and geez, who knows if anybody's even living in that house. Got a house back there. That house has got a lot of land in front of it. We're about to hit Bay 50th. We're gonna make the turn. We're not gonna go to Stillwell because it's such a short. Makes no sense to. It just makes no sense. It's like you're gonna go down there and then turn immediately. So we will turn here. So you see these Bay streets, they get really short, and then we're gonna be finishing the walk on the shortest Bay streets, which is Bay 52nd and 53rd, and then we'll be done. And this is PS 212 that we are walking by right now. So you got Harway Avenue over here. And this is pretty much where Harway ends. This is where Bath Avenue ends. Bath Avenue actually ends at about an avenue down. So this is it. All the streets are starting to disappear as we get into Coney Island. That train is coming out of the yard. That is not coming out of the normal line. It doesn't have any insignias on it. It says it's out of service. All right, guys, we are on Bay 50th Street. If you notice, I'm walking a little fast, and that is because we're at the end, and I want to get across Cropsey again. Cropsey is really the big pain over here, so this is a good walk. If you're into walking, this is it, man. This is a good walk. This is Avenue Y. So now we're starting to hit the West Streets. This is West 16th and Avenue Y right here. This is where Avenue Y ends. I'll tell you, this is a good way if you live in a neighborhood. I've said this before. I always kind of remind people you don't have to go far to take long walks. I could imagine that there are people that live in neighborhoods that they've never explored their own neighborhood too. That tree looks like it was cut down. There's a big tree right there. At some point, it was a big tree. But yeah, you could just walk around a neighborhood that you live in. There are people. You might be one of them where you just live on your block and maybe you just walk to and from a train station, or you walk to the supermarket or whatever, and you just don't even know what's in your neighborhood, and then decide to take one of these walks and you wind up seeing houses like this one just stuck in the middle. So we are now on Cropsey Avenue, and we have to finish the walk, and we're going to be finishing it in those small little bay streets and call it a day. We are now at 1 hour. I'm making all of you work for this one, because we got to go up these stairs. On to Bay 52nd, the end. Parkview Diner is still around. All right, this is it, guys. We covered all the Bay Streets. These are the houses I was telling you about that are in their original state from long ago. They're like beach houses. They got that Garrison Beach feel to it. This will probably be our longest walk in a while. We're now at 1 hour 5. We're about to go down Bay 53rd. And you can see there's nothing down here. This is where the Home Depot is. This is the ends of Shore Parkway on this side. And you got the ball fields over here, the Parkway. So this is, oh, look at this. This car's had better days. So yeah, this is what we like to call the ass ends of Brooklyn. Nothing good happens over here after midnight, I'll tell you that. As evidenced by that car. I want to thank everybody for coming along on this walk and on all the Bay Street walks. We got all the Bay Street walks in. Bay 53rd, and then Bay 54th is really it's really nothing. It's just the next street over gets you into it'll get you into Home Depot. It looks like they're building some homes over here. But we did it. We covered all of the Bay Streets. Took us about a week to do. Wasn't that long. Got some small little houses across the street. Those are original style houses in this area. I'll get you a better look. Look at some of these houses. And then when you come over here, you got some of these smaller ones. Railroad style houses, we used to call these. Like a boxcar. We are done. We will end it around the corner on Bay 54th. Look at that. And this type of a walk has made me hungry, and I might stop at the diner. So now down here is nothing. It's a junkyard. You got metal scrap. You got Stop and Shop over here. This is the bridge that takes you over into Coney Island. It goes over the Coney Island Creek. And that is it. We are done. All the Bay streets have been knocked out. And we will end it at Home Depot. So see, this is the street I was telling you. It's just really used as the entrance into Home Depot. All right, everyone. Hope everybody enjoyed this nice exercise type of walk. We continue to do the walks on the channel. I don't know where we'll be next, but I think we'll take a break from commentary for a while and just get back to some old-fashioned walking like I've done on the channel for some time now, and then we'll eventually pick up again. Take care, everyone. Catch everyone on the next one.